Good morning, Flosstube. My name is Laura, and I'd like to welcome you to Stitching by the Shore, my channel all about cross-stitch with a little bit of paper crafting thrown in too. If you are new, I'd like to say welcome. Thank you so much for pressing play and giving my channel a try. If you're so inclined, if you hit like and subscribe, that would be awesome, and feel free to ask questions, and I will do my best to answer them. And if I can't, I'll ask others who probably know more than me. And my returning stitching friends, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for taking the time to watch my video. I know they can be a little long, so any amount of effort and time you take, I do appreciate, and I love sharing the stitching journey with you. Alrighty, I think it's 10 projects to show you this week. I only have one start and no finishes. Usually in this past month, I was looking at my notes because I take notes for every video, and I color code things and everything, and so I can, all the other months or weeks of this month were very colorful with like my starts and finishes color and all that and stuff. This week, not so much. That's okay. I pulled out projects that I have got on the go, and I enjoyed stitching what I did this week. Hopefully you will too. So before I get started with the stitching though, I do want to send out huge thank you to any and everyone that wished me a happy anniversary. I really appreciate it. I'll talk about what we did and enjoyed the storm while we were at it at the end, but just in case, if you did wish me, I want to just say thank you. I really did appreciate it. I showed Mo all the messages and all of that, and it was just really lovely. Thank you. The other thing is we have a deadline looming. I know there's not a lot of deadlines necessarily for those of us where cross-stitch is a hobby, but this is one. If you are participating or would like to participate in this current trading card swap, the deadline for shipping is October 1st, which is a Sunday, so obviously October 2nd is fine. You know, so don't feel like you have to run to the post office on Saturday. If you need that Sunday, that's fine. If you mail it on Monday, no problem. They're still coming in. It's so exciting. I think every single day I got at least one trading card coming in for the mail. So it was so fun, and you all are so creative. But you do have a little bit more time till Monday to send. So if you just need to do your last minute finishing touches this weekend, go for it. And then I'm so excited to see what you do. And I'm so proud of everyone who's given this a try, who was a little unsure. So you're doing awesome. Every single one of these has been lovely. I really have enjoyed seeing all of your creativity. And if you missed this one and you're bummed because you really wanted to give it a try, no worries. I did feel like that there was enough interest and that we'll do some next year. This one being the first, maybe the most well, I want to say attended, but that's not the right word, that I'll get the most maybe, but it doesn't really matter, right? For those of you who want to swap and do whatever, we'll just do that kind of swap. So I'm hoping to have at least one, maybe up to 3 swaps next year. So plenty of chances for you if you missed this one. Okay, so let's talk stitching. I'm looking at my notes here. Some of it is definitely seasonal at this point, but there's actually several kind of like summary stitches. You know, I kind of jump all over the place. I don't necessarily have to finish for a season or stitch to a season. So you'll see a little bit of everything. Now, the very first one, let me go to my photos here. Okay. I like this a little bit better because I feel like I can control the photos a little bit easier doing it in my on my iPad through my photos versus trying to find it online. So sometimes that means I may not be able to check right away a certain link or something to do with the pattern, but I'll always have anything you need to know, unless I forget, and always remind me if I do, in the description box below. I try to put as much information as I can. So the first one that I pulled out was my Haunted Library Stitch Along. It's not a stitch along anymore. It's long over, Lola Crow Studios. And I do like this one. I really do. I do have a question though before I get going. You know, I've been kind of working on this side. Well, I'm not into scary looking clowns, to be honest with you. I just don't care for them. And I really I don't care for that. For me, it just kind of every time I look at it, it just kind of makes me, I can't even explain it. Now, I know that I had heard somewhere that an alternative, was it provided or did people make their own? So I've been stitching from when you get it now, like I bought it after the stitch along. It was long over, and we were sent like the whole piece, and that's what I've been kind of stitching off of, printing that off digitally. But also in the thing that was given was the chapters. So you could, if you wanted to stitch it as it had been released, you could. And so I said, okay, there's nothing in the main section. So I went back and I think I found the chapter that was released. And I didn't see anything listed there as an alternative if you didn't want to stitch. Is it Penny somebody? I don't know. See, I really, yeah. But, so I looked and looked and looked and I couldn't find anything. And the problem with Instagram now, with Instagram hashtags, because I checked the hashtag, is they've really bumbled it up, to be honest with you. Hashtags used to be so wonderful, but now, you know, you're either getting the most popular or the recent most popular. And if something hasn't been done in a little while, they show you nothing, even though there is technically hashtags for that. I've had that happen too. So I think I found a couple, and I don't know if people like just kind of recharted things themselves, but if you heard about it or stitched it or know of somewhere where I can do potentially an alternative to that little, because that's, you know, at some point I've been working around it in some ways. I was over here and then now I've been rebuilding this, but at some point I have to do that. And, you know, the shelf underneath, because, you know, there's kind of the hands over it. And anyway, if you know of anything, I would really appreciate any info you can give me on that. That would be really helpful. But mine is done on, this is an 18 count Imagine from Mystic Fabrics. So I definitely went wild. This is actually, you know, I love color, but this is actually a little bit more wild even for me. But I thought this is a really fun pattern to kind of just have all those different colors. It kind of looked Halloween. It's not really Halloween-ish, but it felt like it went with the subject matter for me. And I mean, a lot of it is going to be stitched in. There are parts, like the bottom down here is all going to be full coverage-ish. There's going to be lots of stitching there. And so it's going to be in and among. So I felt it wouldn't be too busy for this. I've been studiously avoiding the Librarian Ghost because there's a mistake there. And so I have to go back, check the chart, recount, and then probably pull out. So I've said, well, then I'm just going to keep working on this side of the pattern. And that's what I've been doing. So I've been still building. For the most part, I think this week I built structure. This had to be finished. This wasn't done. So I did all that, finished through there. And then I've been working on the structures through the staircases here. I think I came all the way over here and did all that and a little bit down there. I mean, the structure has to be built. So for the moment, you know, I can avoid this is the spot where I need to find something else to stitch. I could do just another row of books, I guess, but I didn't know if there was something that had been offered because, you know, the second row is a row of books and a row of books. And here you have Poe. And so I didn't know if, you know, I wanted a different visual and picture versus just more books or how I wanted to do it. Plus there'll be books in the middle here. So I can certainly do that. I just wasn't sure if there was something else. So that's where it is. And I do enjoy stitching this and I enjoy picking it up. So maybe by the end of next year it'll be done. Certainly not by the end of this year. Alrighty. One that when I did in July, when I did my mid-year project parade, I went through and I highlighted ones that I thought could be done by, say, the next mid-year. So kind of like a year's worth from July to July, whatever. And this was one of them that I really feel like by the middle of next year, I want this one done. And I think it could be because it's actually a pretty quick stitch, actually, when you get going with it. It's really kind of fun. And yes, there are lots of color changes for the most part, but there's blocks of it and so you can kind of feel like you're getting things accomplished. And I've been taking it row by row. And so now we're really concentrating on here. So you can see, except for backstitch, which has to be done, and I'll do that at the end, I'm concentrating here and then I have down here and I will be finished. So I think this is definitely one that could be finished by next July. If I buckle down, I probably could finish it by the end of this year, but I'm not going to necessarily put that pressure on myself. So that's where it is. And if I fold over the top for a minute, this is an 18 count Opal Blue Ice from To Die For Fabrics. And that's where I am. Now I did pull this out because I am, once again, I'm definitely thinking about how I want to tackle my Whip Warriors group next year. But I'm kind of coming down to the wire again with categories, and the letter A was chosen, and for something to do with humans or something or other, Dorothy has arms. I mean, I know the Scarecrow does too, but you could kind of call it human because it was one of the character that was the Scarecrow in her dream is a human, but the Scarecrow, you know, so, but anyway, Dorothy does. I still have, and I did these first because they were more fun. And then I said, oh, I got to go back and do this leaf. So each row has leaves. So I still have that one and there, and then 4 more down here. But I said, let's do some of this. Now they look wildly incomplete at the moment, but that's more stitching than you realize, to be honest. That was my weekly. I did hit my goal, my weekly stitching goal with that. So we have Dorothy and the Scarecrow, and Toto's going to be right next to Dorothy on a little stump. And then we come over here on this side. I have kept all of the called for colors on this one. I haven't changed anything. The only thing I'm not going to do is every once in a while there's, and I don't know what kind of stitches they are. Does it say here? They look like little star sort of type things. They're all backstitched, so I guess maybe they're just little backstitched kind of star-like things. But because this is opal, and in real life it sparkles quite a bit, I kind of feel like it really isn't necessary. The whole piece just really kind of sparkle. So I'm not going to put those in. I don't even think over here with the Good Witch, I think over on her wand, you know, there's some stuff. I don't even know if it's necessarily there because, again, you'll have all the sparkles. I'll make that decision at the end. The only thing I could potentially, I don't know, like Dorothy is wearing, you know, the ruby red slippers. And then, of course, down here, I could use a 12 for that, the red étoile. We'll see. Sparkle on sparkle. Probably be okay. But yeah, really enjoying this one. There's something about it that I just really like the little finishes, and it feels like I'm accomplishing things. That's I don't necessarily need to always have that finish, but if I can get a part accomplished, then I feel like we're making progress. All right, next is Barbaraana, and it's my Blue Dreams. I had a thought process of why I pulled this out, and I don't remember what it is now, to be quite honest with you. Now, I always enjoy stitching this, so I don't know if it necessarily needs... Oh, wait a minute. Everything's stuck. There we go. I always have such a big pile here, and I'm really confined because I have a couple of little tray tables and stuff all over, so if I ever had to get up quickly, there'd be quite a mess. Here we go. This is where Blue Dreams is. This is an 18 count tropical from Fabrics by Stephanie. And I just love it. There is a hashtag #StitchBarbaraana. Any Barbaraana that you'd like to stitch can work for that hashtag. You can also do stitchbarbaraanasal for stitch along. Either one is fine. I have grown so much to enjoy Barbaraana. And it's definitely an evolution of my tastes and things I enjoy. but she really produces wonderful, wonderful patterns. And I think I did, ooh, so the fish is almost done. The fish doesn't have a face there, but I really just kept going here. I have little fill-in bits to do, and I have some sky and some of the birds and the clouds and all of that. But I think I just concentrated more just here. And I might wait, like the little fish has, you know, there's a square and then an eye in the middle. I may wait and do a bunch of those all at once, you know, get them more stitched and then go back rather than pulling that out just for that one. We'll see. That's it is. And again, when you'll see it again, I'm not sure. When I do, and I did actually start, when did we start this one as a stitch along? Was it October 1st? I don't remember. July 1st? Somewhere, I don't know. My stitch alongs are very much just have fun. There's no pressure to finish. There's no deadlines. There's just enjoy. Pick it up when you feel like stitching it. Let it sit for a while if it's just not calling to you, and then bring it back and enjoy, you know, discover it again. That's fine. No worries. I get these things finished eventually, or I will, but I don't worry when they're finished. All right, September's Morning Glory is next. This is from Cottage Garden Samplings. This is the last time you'll see this. Well, this month certainly, because obviously tomorrow is the last day of September. And unless I need it for some sort of Stitching Games prompt, you probably won't see it for the rest of this year. So that's what it looks like. And I did get some of the flower in all the way to the edge. So that's edge to edge. This is done on an 18 count Friendship Green by Fabrics by Stephanie. And I think I've pretty much introduced all the colors now. I mean, you don't see much of the green in and around the flowers. I was like, I had originally, I feel like you can tell I'm an 80s child because I do my best, but I do the whole Valley Girl like stuff. Those were my teen years. Literally my entire teen years happened in the 1980s. I wasn't a teenager before 1980, and after 1989, I was no longer a teenager again. And so I do still, and I heard myself say, like, you know, and it didn't need to be in there. So I've worked really hard to try to not use that all the time, but it still slips in once in a while. And it just, you know what? It's my teenage years. They're just going to be there every once in a while. Anyway, I had originally said I was going to do down this row and all that good stuff, but then I got kind of stuck in on the purples again. So I did some more purple, and there's a lot of colors in here. There's more than you realize. Let me see if I do a quick look at the pattern. 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5. With these glasses, so you're changing a lot. But it looks quite lovely, and I'll enjoy the blue down this way and then mix with the purple. And this will come out again next September. That's the goal. I have one more to start. Next month's October, and then all 12 have been started, and then I will bring them out each month from November, December this year, and all next year. Okay, so full coverage. What did I do this week? Let me see here. Here we go. This was pulled out fresh this weekend, so you haven't seen this since last time I stitched it. It's called Bottled Beauty, and it is from Cross Stitch for Everyone. They are on Etsy, and that's who charted it, and it is artwork by Fun Digital, it said. That's what the copyright was. And you know, me and beach scenes, absolutely love it. Now I am up at the top in the top corner, and I kind of did a bunch of the top. So you're going to see lots of yellows and mustards and maroons and reds and oranges, and just, that's where I am. This is an 18 count white Aida. It's 2 strands over 1 full cross. And no lie, I think I did every section. I know I know for a fact because I worked on some of this yesterday. I've been filling in here. So I came across with this color and now I'm going back and filling in. And I know I did some down here. I know I've been filling in on the top. There is a fair amount of confetti at this point. And the one thing that does slow me down on this, because I know I'm a dinosaur, but I use paper patterns. The symbols are very similar up here. So there's one section I actually blew through 3 stitches of a different symbol, but I'm like, see, now I'm going to notice it every time I say it. I said to myself, really, it's not going to matter. Nobody's going to know those 3 stitches of another color were supposed to be somewhere on the top in the background. But there's one that looks, there's a symbol that in one direction, it's a U, and then an upside down U, and then a C and a backwards C. And it's all the same. And they're all within this section. So I certainly, my eyes saw something else that wasn't there when I was stitching. So I am going to have to be very careful, I think, around here because it switches between symbols. And so I know if I was using, I have Markup RXP. If I was using it, it would be easier, but I don't know. It's kind of like, I like a physical book. I love the ease of just getting an ebook and the flipping, it just doesn't feel the same. I like a physical book. I like my physical paper. I don't know. My calendars are all physical. Just the whole, something about writing things down just is satisfying to me. So that means I make it a little bit more difficult for myself, and that's okay. As long as I am still enjoying that process, then that's what I'll keep doing. And at some point, if I'm not, then, you know, I will jump into more digital. But that's where it is. This will get another week's worth. I'm going to talk about my weekend plans coming up. I don't know how much over the weekend this will get, so it may get stitched all next week. So you probably will see this one. I won't start another one in my 10-day rotation before that. But what you will see also is my September. I was calling it a sort of a strand a month full coverage kind of thing, a strand a day. It hasn't happened every day, so some days I do 2 or 3 strands, and I think it's probably evened out kind of thing, but you'll see that next week because we have today and tomorrow. So 2 more days of the month, and then it'll get put away. Or maybe I give it 10 days at some point before the end of this year. We'll see. All right, moving on. Every other week, I pull out my Summer Quaker from Lila's studio. This is a stitch along that Beth, the Steadfast Stitcher, and I'm going to start writing my notes. Although Beth is pretty much mentioned in every video, so she's like a standing link on my description box because I'm always doing something with Beth. But so Beth and I, the Steadfast Stitcher, we started, I have too many things here. What am I supposed to be holding up? This stitch along, it's hashtag summer by the shore, S-A-L, and we started on the first day of summer. It'd sure be nice if it was done by next year's first day of summer, but again, I'm not going to put those pressures on myself. It'll get done when it's done. This week, I didn't get quite as much accomplished. I'm kind of in a section where zooming and stitching it, I'm kind of in between pages, and so there, you know, in one section there, down here, it's a big block, but it's between pages. And then, so I was working up here, but there's different colors, and again, between pages. So I learned pretty quickly, because I tried to zoom with this last week, and it wasn't really working, so I ended up pulling something else out. And then I just stitched this. I was watching 2 Needles Pulling Thread, and they always have nice long videos, and so I just kind of buckled in, and so that's the bottom. This is the whole thing, just to show you. But I didn't work down here at all. I was up here. They have nice long videos, so I was able to buckle in, and I could, I love doing floss tubes because I can look up when I need to look up, but I can also kind of just look down and concentrate. And so that worked really well for this piece. And you're going to see up here is where I was really concentrating. And I know it doesn't look like much, but boy, there's more stitches than you think in a little section. So I was, you can see there's like little legs here that I have to kind of finish and continue. I worked more on bringing this part across and then up here. So I have another little, they're crabs, not lobsters, right? Yeah. So I have another little one on this side. Then I can finish off that element and then it'll get easier again. And it'll probably be easier to zoom with because then there's the little tiny elements, which are great for zoom. And the next big block here looks like it will be a fairly easy counting sort of piece. I haven't consciously not done the middle as much. I was going to continue. Actually, I did the words too, I think. Excuse me, I have my itchy nose, Flosstube nose. But I didn't want to, I could have kept going on the words, but it's the same thing with borders. I always get worried, did I miscount somewhere? And then if I had done the words all the way across and then boom, all of a sudden I had miscounted, do I have to pull them all out again? So I had gotten as far as here and I said, I really better start doing this. And it does line up, thank goodness, so I can keep going. Now I did make the decision. You're gonna see, if you haven't bought this yet, and I don't know if like new printed charts will be fixed, the H's are different heights, and then they're different heights in the picture, but the different heights in the pattern are different than the picture, and I ended up deciding I wanted them all straight across taller. So the H's can either be one stitch shorter, the top, or they can be even with the tops of all the other letters. And I chose to, what I'm purposely doing is making them even with the tops of all the letters. That's the one thing I've done. I'm not sure if it's in the picture itself. Let me see. The first "the" has a small H, and then all the other H's are tall. Maybe it's an artistic choice. I don't know. But for me, I think I would have noticed it a little too much. So I changed it. But you can certainly, whatever works for you, you could make them all little if you prefer that look, or go with what's charted and patterned or whatever. But that is the one switch I did make on it. Color-wise, though, everything is still the same. 18 count Nantucket Sky by Fabrics by Stephanie. My ultimate favorite. You know that. One of my ultimate. I say that and then I'll find another one and then that'll be my favorite. Like Mo laughs at me, for example, because I don't know about the rest of you, but I'm a grocery store hopper in the sense that I have a favorite grocery store and that's the one I want to go to every week. And then about 2 months later, I kind of get tired of that one. I don't know, you know, things ebb and flow of what they have available. So then we go to another one. I'm like, this is my favorite grocery store now. And he laughs at me because literally every 2 or 3 months, I'm saying, nope, we have to go to this grocery store instead because it's my favorite store. So I think of that because I say the same thing about fabrics. My favorite fabric. I have about like 20 different favorite fabrics. So it really doesn't quite mean what it's supposed to mean. I did see, I hadn't really thought about it, but some people were talking about how they weren't going to stitch the mermaid. And I haven't thought about it yet. I don't know if I'm going to stitch the mermaid. I have nothing against them. I don't either dislike or ultimately like go crazy over them. They're fine. But I did see somebody, they had bought a small little chart that was a sea turtle and it fit in perfectly and it looks so cute and phenomenal. So I may do something like that. I have to think about it. We'll see. I'll let you know if I do end up doing it. I think I saved, I don't know if it was a post on Instagram and I saved it so that I'd be able to find it again. I hope, you know, you do these things and you save these things and then you're not sure where they ended up being saved to. I don't know, at least maybe that's just me. Could be, it could just be me. Oh, I wanted to put down Missy and Kathy so I can link their Flosstube. All right, next. Autumn Quaker, Jardin Prive. This is rapidly becoming my car/beach stitch. Of course, when I go to the beach right now, it's really windy, so I'm in the car, so it's actually still a car stitch. It's monochromatic. It's a great size. It's a fun stitch. This is the last of the 4 that I have done. I have loved each and every one of these so much. I'm looking at the fabric. I didn't cut down off the bottom yet. It's way taller than it's going to be. These are not humongous. They are, if you were wondering, if you haven't stitched them, it's 100 wide by 180 high. So it's not exactly like a huge piece that will take forever, especially if you do monochromatic. There are colors that you could do that they suggest for each one of the 4, or you can just do what you want. I am doing 823 DMC for all 4. And this last one is being stitched on 18 count soft peach from To Dye For Fabrics. And that's what I have. I got to the beach a few times this week and did some car stitching, sometimes a little bit more than other times. But we are completely done over here. And I think this symbol, oh, I have a thread I have to cut off there. This symbol is completely done, and we got a little leaf. There's a cute little acorn coming. Oh, actually, there's 2 acorns. There's a symbol here and then acorns on either side, so that'll be cute. And then I have to go back and start working on this over here. This comes down like this. But I love this. I've always enjoyed stitching these. I'm going to be sad when they're done because I started them last year. This was not just a 2023 project, but I have just, every time I've stitched those and pulled them out, I have really enjoyed them quite a bit, I have to say. Okay, now this one is Mandy Parker's fault. If you watch her Flosstube, Mandy just came out with one, was it last night, Mandy? I don't know, I've already watched it. I'm writing down your name so I know to link you. I had gone to the beach, I don't remember what day, and I had taken a picture. It was a day where it was nice enough that Mo and I were sitting on the beach, so it couldn't have been super windy that day. And there was a little seagull just hanging out for the longest time on the sand next to me. And I took a picture and I posted it on my Facebook page. And Mandy said, well, now you have to stitch this because it's telling you need to stitch this. And I listened to what Mandy said and I pulled out Summer at the Shore. And this is Cottage Garden Samplings again, and it is part of its 2021 series of 12. I have, if you've not seen this before, I did change the fabric, the base fabric, and that's where it is. This is 18 count Compelling Conchis by Those Missing Stitches. It's a really lovely color. It's really nice on the eyes. I stitched another one of these kind of starfish. I got that one completely done. And then I did some more of the ship here with the sails. I got the water in. And then was I zooming with this? I might have been. And the lighthouse. So you get half a lighthouse in the picture. That's how, it's shown. That's great for zoom stitching because it's just big blocks. And I'm at the point now where the seagull's tail is going to go right in here by the lighthouse, and then it'll continue down. This part of the seagull, through its back in the grays and over here in the lighter grays, there's quite a bit of, I don't want to say confetti, but there's 2 or 3 different colors, to create the design. So that section I will have to do when I'm in that right frame of mind, certainly not when I'm zooming. And then when you get to the wing, it's really kind of cool. There's several colors, but it's in a little bit more designated, segmented design, and so that will get easier again. I'm doing the turkey from this series, and right now I'm heavy in, again, that kind of patterny part, so you really have to pay attention. But once I get that, everything else, even the water, there's different colors, but if you do kind of the outline, I bet you there'll be some good fill in there. So this is coming along. And, Mandy was right. It needed a stitch since I had seen the seagull. All right. I am zipping right along. Usually it takes me almost an hour to talk about my projects, and I am down to just 2 projects left. Next one is another piece that I am stitching with Beth because Beth picks great projects. And this is the Librarian's House, and it's from Stone Street Stitchworks. I actually ultimately am using a color similar fabric-wise to this one, but I am changing up the colors slightly, not completely. But for example, do you see how the border there is a bit more? It's kind of like a green. If I remember the color for, it's kind of a greenish brownish kind of look. I've darkened that up. And then some of the greens I have changed out. The house, I think I'm changing out. The red is, I think it's 221. That I'm keeping because that was what caught me. This, I can tell you exactly. This right here. I saw this and it sold me. And as I'm doing it, I'm enjoying all of it, but I could totally see stitching either one of those flowers on their own. I think that would be quite lovely. So, where am I? Here I am. This is 18 count Darling David, also from Those Missing Stitches. And I have to say, it is gorgeous. I love, love, love this fabric. This color, I need to make an order because I think I need more of this. If you see a lot of stitches in this fabric color in the future, don't be surprised. It is just beautiful. And look at how these colors just pop on this. I ended up using 939 as the border, and that's what will go there. That's a different color. So there's like I think that's 938. There's 938. I'm using 939. You know, so dark brown, dark blue-ish, navy-ish. There's another kind of dark. I'm okay with that because on this fabric, they're going to pop. And in person, you can tell the slight differences in shades. On the camera, I'm not sure if you can. And then the red is just going to red maroonish, I guess. Maybe more maroon, I'd say, than bright red. You know, with colors, I like to give it a good description. And I'm not sure in my mind what I'm reading it as, but those colors are just going to pop all over the piece, and I'm just going to love it. There is a hashtag librariansamplersal. Sampler September. Once in a while, I do kind of jump into that. I just love this. So I was stitching this yesterday with a couple people in person. I had about an hour for the needlework group after my physical therapy, and I went to, and I said, well, you know what? Let's do some border. Because that's, for something like that, that's great. And this border is it's a pretty good one for when you're kind of talking and kind of not paying attention. And then I started to pull out some of that color red too. But I love this one, and I could see pulling this out almost every week because I love the fabric. There's something so soothing about the color. These colors on it are just, I'm just loving it. I don't have any other way to explain it. Love, love, love it. All right, the very last one. The last one has, like many of my pieces, a story. I've seen people stitch the Twisted Band Sampler and Twisted Rainbow Sampler, both the specialty stitch version. More so I've seen people with the specialty, some just X's. You know me, I like my aida. I'm not doing specialty stitches on aida. I am just going to enjoy the stitch. And so it was charted in just cross stitches. I bought the 2-pack because I couldn't decide which one did I want to stitch. They both look lovely, and you can get them from Northern Expressions Needle Art, I think is what, Northern Expressions Needle Art, yes. You can get them as a set, in X's, I'm sure you can get them as a set in specialty. You can buy each one separately, however you want to do it. And I am going to do kind of the light dark kind of thing. And I finally said that I was going to start one this year. It's a band sampler, technically, right? Twisted Band Sampler, Rainbow. Well, this one is called Twisted Band Sampler, this lighter one. And this one's called Twisted Rainbow. Does it have the word band on there? I can't see because my gloss is, nope, just Twisted Rainbow Sampler. But you get the idea. So I decided to start with the one with the darker color. I didn't necessarily want to do black, white fabrics. So I said, let's do shades of gray, and I'll do a dark and a light gray. So this is the Rainbow Sampler. And I have to say, I'm not sure I've ever seen anybody stitch it kind of just across or down. I always see people stitching it in the bands. And I could get it if you're doing the specialty stitches because, you know, once you get going, you're going to just keep going. But even on the X parts in the specialty area, it's always done in the bands. And I wanted to see how all these colors looked. So I did it my way. Because, you know, I need to be difficult or different or whatever you want to call it. So that is the width of it. That's it. I know it's tall. I think I have some extra fabric. I just kept this whole piece. I didn't bother cutting it. So it probably comes down maybe. I don't remember. I know I have some extra even with a border. But let's go back up here. These are all the colors up top. This is an 18 count. It's called Mystic Gray from To Die For Fabrics. And I enjoyed every one of these stitches. I so enjoyed this. This got 700 stitches. I enjoyed it so much as a start. Yep, that's 700 stitches. And obviously there's more colors as you work your way down. You know, there's the purples and the mauves and different shades of different colors. But that's all at the top. And I don't know. I mean, obviously with this one, this is the lightest color and then or the least amount, right? And so I know I've seen people pick whichever corner, depending on which one you're doing, taking the least band and then working their way down that way. I don't know if I'll do that. I don't know if I'll continue to throw in all the different colors, but for now, that's where it is. So this is when I chose this, I actually pulled the fabrics for the other one, and I do want to show you what I chose because I wanted to, you know, I could pick a gray in and of its own that goes with the rainbow colors, but if I do want to put these side to side necessarily or something, or they're too big for the scrapbook, so they're going to have to be put on my shelves or something or other, but I wanted them, you know, gray can be on the warm tone or the cool tone. And you know I'm definitely a cool tone gray girl. You know, I mean, if it has blue shades in it, you know I'm all in. But I could pick this in a vacuum, but I needed to find a light gray as well. And I need them to be along the same kind of tone, otherwise it's going to clash. So I ended up with, what did I end up with? What's it called? Angel Wing by Fabrics by Stephanie. So that will be, so it's a very, very light gray. And again, it's got just a titch of the blue tones with it. And they're not in any, I just put them on a ring. But those are the colors, so you can see they're definitely kind of lighter versions of these, you know, different versions of those. So I thought they looked really lovely on this Angel Wing. And then these two will be dark and light. Yes, it's not as dark as I've seen other people do it on, and not even black. I know I've seen really deep, deep dark grays, and I thought about that, but in the end I went with this. There was a fiber on a whim color that I really, really considered. Was it Night Sky? I don't remember what it was called, but in the end I thought these two would go well. So there's not as much contrast as the original with the black and white, but I think it'll be fun, and I'm enjoying it. I'm loving this stitch, and I am loving the X's. So I don't necessarily worry about the fact that it's not the specialty stitch one, because I like my Aida, and I'm going to do what I like. Oh, excuse me. Alrighty, so that is my stitching for this week. I don't know when I'll start the other band sampler. It won't be before this one's finished. I will certainly finish one before I start the next. Maybe next September. Let me just take a drink real quick. Excuse me. Okay, so that is the stitching. What do I have for plans? Well, October is coming. So I pulled out some of the stitches that I think I'd like to start in October. Well, I know for sure this one. So this is October's Marigold from Cottage Garden. And it is the very last one. And I have no idea what color fabric I'm using on this. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm going to pull out, I think I have some extra of Darling David. That might look really nice on this. I'm telling you that fabric is going to, you're going to see it all the time. I'm going to pull that out and do a floss toss. I have pulled the flosses. So, we'll see what happens on that. I don't have any fabrics picked for this. I know October is Sunday. I don't necessarily have to start one October 1st though. I'll pick the fabrics as I go. Now this next one I am going to show you on my iPad because I just print off in black and white, and I got it as a digital. It is called Autumn Still Life, and it is from Owl Forest Embroidery. So that's what it looks like. I love the colors. I love the leaves and the birds and the pumpkins and all that good stuff. Oh, it's not on my notes, so I almost forgot. Not everything has pumpkins. Actually, everything I'm starting might have pumpkins in it. It might actually. But October is my birthday month, and for the last couple years, I have had a birthday stitch along, and we're doing it again this year. It is hashtag pumpkin birthday, SAL, pumpkin birthday stitch along. And you can stitch a pumpkin, you can stitch something that's a pumpkin color. And remember, there's blue pumpkins, white pumpkins, you know, orange pumpkins, you name it. You can use fabric that's a kind of an pumpkinish color. You can stitch a pumpkin spice latte, whatever you like. As long as it has some connection towards pumpkin, as loose as it might be, it's just a matter for all of us to be stitching along. So if you want to hashtag pumpkin birthday sal, do something stitching wise that's related to that, I would love to see it. Now again, the hashtags do not work the same way anymore, even though I follow that hashtag. So if you put something and you do want to tag me, feel free so that I know I get a chance to see it. That one, there's one shade of light green in there that could be an issue, although it would just be tone on tone. I might use Friendship Green for that color, for that pattern. I think those colors would look good on that. And then I was going through my patterns and I saw this and I said, well, this is a lot of fun. Those two I've known all year that I wanted to start for October. And then when I did my 2023 plans little video back during Flosstube last year, I think there was a full coverage I was going to start. It's not a seasonal one, and I was just thinking, I probably am not done starting full coverage, even though I have a lot, but I wasn't sure I really wanted to start that one right then. So I kind of pulled that out of the plans. I went through some of my patterns, and I said, well, I enjoyed doing the summer version of this. I have this one, Season's Blessings. Is this 2? No, this must be 1. So spring and summer must be 2. And I'm looking at the fall one potentially as a start. And I actually really, I'm curious if I have any brown fabric, because I actually really, really like it on that fabric. This is Lila Studio. So that one is, now there's a caveat, obviously. These are projected starts. May happen. I may change my mind. I may add more. I may add less. You never know. And then I recently showed these to you because I bought them from Jardin Prive. There's this one that says Happy Halloween Pumpkin Party. I love that. That's a lot of fun. And then this one is the fault of Colette, is she the highway stitcher? I'm almost sure she's the highway stitcher on Flosstube. I'm almost sure. She is doing a year October to October sort of stitch along, and she showed this one. Maybe it'll get done by next October, I'm not sure. Oh, yep, there is a little pumpkin at the bottom around the October. And you know how much I enjoy Jardin Prive. So I picked this one up, and I think this would be fun. This would probably be done in something like a Nantucket sky. I know there's blues, but I bet you it would look good on that. Because anything outdoors, the first fabric I look at is Nantucket sky. I love the little birdhouse. That's like a Santa coat. Anyway, that's the last one, the 5th of the, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that and I didn't pick a specific number. Those just happened to show up. There's 1 or 2 others that I've been kind of eyeing as possible, and they're kind of seasonal. So if it kind of goes with my pumpkin birthday stitch along, I don't know. So you may see difference, changes, whatever. The only definite is the October Marigold from Cottage Garden. And that will have started all 12. Super excited with that. The other thing for plans, in one of my most favorite events in Whip Warriors, which is a closed group, but they opened it last year in December, and I don't have any reason to think they wouldn't again this year, to new members if you wanted to join. and you can try it out. They do some events, you try the events and so on and so forth. One of my most favorite, and they only do it during 24 hours of cross stitch, so this will be the 4th time this year, is called Whip Frenzy. And basically the idea is to see how many over the course of this 3 days, I think it is, you can do, how many projects you can do 100 to 200 stitches in and just rotate them out. And, you know, they have a word, you have to take pictures before, after, all that stuff. And it's my favorite event out of all of them. If they did that every month, I would be so in. So I was all ready. I'm going to do my Whip Frenzy, and I still will, but it's going to be kind of, it's not going to be a Whip Frenzy. It's going to be a Whip Gentle Stream. I don't know how to call it otherwise, because Mo was telling me, he's been texting with Meg, and the weekend of 24 hours cross stitch, my birthday's that, I think it's that Monday, but Mo's been texting with Meg, and we think Liz and Meg are going to come down on that weekend and, you know, kind of do all sorts of fun stuff birthday-wise and this, that, and the other. So, obviously, I'm not going to be stitching all weekend. I will get some in here and there because I think they both work remotely. So, they'll come down, for example, I think they're coming Thursday night, and they'll work on Friday. So, I can get, you know, I can film and I can do some stitching or whatever during their work day and stuff. But obviously, we're going to be doing things. So, I'll get minimal stitching in, not as much stitching. So I said this weekend, I am going to make it my Whip Frenzy weekend. Now I don't have anywhere to, you know, take pictures of before and after. I think, you know, I'm good for it. I'm not going to lie about working on something if I haven't. And so starting this afternoon, I am starting my own Whip Frenzy, and I'm going to see this afternoon, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, how many projects I can put in 100 to 200 stitches in. And then the rest of the week, I will go back to those. Probably I might start something, like, for example, I might one of the days put in 100 stitches on Bottled Beauty, and then I'll put it aside. But if I don't, I may not. If I don't, that one obviously would get stitched on during the week, which wouldn't have been during Whip Frenzy. That maybe I don't do a start during Whip. I don't know what I'm doing. I was thinking about this last night, and I said, you know, I'm going to miss kind of the official Whip Frenzy, but I'm going to do it myself, and I'm going to have fun because, like I said, it's my favorite event. So we'll see how many pieces I can touch and do this weekend, and you'll find out next video. So that's the plan. If anybody wants to join me during a Whip Frenzy sort of weekend, feel free. Maybe I'll put something, well, certainly you do not have to be part of my Facebook page. You know, always, if you do not want to, just don't want any part of Facebook, don't worry, I got you. If you want to reach out to me, whether it's Gmail or Instagram, and tell me what you did, I'd love to hear that. Maybe we'll do like a kind of weekend post, and you can see how many stitches you get in the week. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe just something fun off the cuff. Just because, like I said, I can't do the official one. So I'm going to just kind of make my own. So we'll see. But yeah, if you want to join me, feel free. It'll be fun. Alrighty, so that's it for plans. Happy Mail. I have a couple pieces of Happy Mail to show you. Like I said, I've had to go into another drawer, actually, for my envelopes and such for my trading cards. We have definitely gotten at least 50 in. And I know there's some still coming because a couple people have said that they are getting ready to send the stuff out. So there's more coming. I am so excited. I cannot wait to show you all of them. They are beautiful. So I got this lovely card when she sent her trading cards from Anita. Isn't that adorable? I just love that. I have kept each and every card that has been sent to me. I need something fun to do with them. I'm not sure yet. Oh, and look at the cute little butterfly going over. And I have been so interested to try these, and Anita sent me a little set to give it a go. These are pony black needles. I've heard people talk about them before, but I've never tried them. So I'm super excited. You read my mind. I cannot wait. And then a needle threader, which I do use needle threaders. So thank you so much. And this is great because it can fit. I have all over the place in different places where I stitch my little metal containers, and I have a needle minder and a scissors, little scissors, and I always have a threader in there. So this is great. These are perfect. They're small. They'll fit in them lovely, and I'll get a chance to use them. So thank you so much, Anita. And your trading cards were lovely. You did a fantastic job. And then I am so excited to show this. I got from Joy. She also did a trading card, and she sent me this fun card. Great color combo. This would be a great color challenge combo. And she had made, look at, she painted this. How beautiful is this? I love this. This is going up. I haven't decided where yet, but this is going up in my studio, my craft room, whatever you want to call it. I love it. Beautiful job, Joy. Really, really pretty. And so cool. So cool. I could never do this. Or it wouldn't look as neat as this. I could attempt it, but it never would look that neat. I would have smudges everywhere and blobs, and yeah. I am a crafter that makes a mess when I craft. I usually have ink all over my hands. I usually have things everywhere. It's a wonder my table is still fairly clean. So that was wonderful, Happy Mail. Thank you so, so much. Then I have a few purchases. I have my fabric of the month from Grace Notes. Now, she's had such trouble, and I feel so bad for her getting 18 count Aida. And so last month I skipped because she didn't have it. And you know, you could change counts or you could wait. And I just said, let's skip the month. Don't worry about it. And she's still having trouble this month. And so she was offering different counts, including a 20 count. And I said, you know, I don't have a lot of 20 count. So this is called Mystique. If you don't want to see it, look away. And here it is. You know, okay, don't look if you don't want to see the color. I'm wondering, I'm going to do a floss toss, but that might be really cool on this. I'm going to keep the fabric with that, actually. I'm going to grab the flosses. Actually, I might have them. And see how that'll look. It'll be 20 count, which means I might try, you know, I might try one strand of DMC. Because, you know, I'm doing the Cosmo and I'm having trouble with it. And people tell me the DMC doesn't necessarily break as much. So I might try the one strand. I might try the two and see what it looks like. I'm not sure. But I'm keeping that fabric. I think that's going to work. And then every once in a while, I do a little drive-by on Hand Dyed by Rolanda on Etsy. And I check out what she has for 18 count. And, well, when you see the color, you're going to know why. It's called Bell Bottom Blues. Bell Bottom Blues. So, yes, of course. Isn't it beautiful? I picked that up. And, you know, I was placing an order from Canada. So, you know, am I going to add anything in it? And I didn't add much. But I got, Rolanda, I apologize if I'm not calling it right. She hand dyes cotton flosses. And so this is number 20. And this is number 12, the pink. I don't know if they show up better against. Aren't they pretty? Now I used, for one of those trading cards, I did use a DMC variegated on the squirrel. And I said, well, I'm not sure I'd want to do full giant pieces with variegated because I do like my DMC. And I only like variegated for me in very small situations. And so I said, it'd be a lot of fun to have a few of these. And if I want to do little small stitches, to do with some of those fabrics. So I picked those up. And then the other thing is not cross-stitch related, but so many of you readers have told me how good this book is. So I picked this up, Fourth Wing, by Rebecca Yaros. I figure Megan might want to read this too. She's a reader as well. So once I've read it, I'll see if she wants to read it. I've told Mo. So pretty much we kind of, when it comes to gifts and things like that, we pretty much kind of do we want to make sure each other really gets what they want. So Mo buys his own stuff, I buy my own stuff. And basically it's our birthday presents or whatever. Mother's Day, Father's Day, whatever. And so I've told Mo, October hasn't started, but I've already started buying my birthday presents. And you're going to be very generous this October. So obviously I will, I will let you know what I get, but I do want to place an order. Every October for the last couple of years, I have placed an order with Fabrics by Stephanie. Well, you know I have to replenish my Nantucket Sky and my Friendship Green, and then I always try a couple other colors. So I do an October order with Stephanie, and I have some stuff on my 123 wish list that 123 Stitch wish list that I want to get. So I haven't ordered from them in a while. Oh, and I forgot one other thing that I tried. I was having a lot of trouble finding floche, white floche. They were all sold out in different places than Etsy. 123 Stitch was sold out. So I went to Amazon, and actually I found this was as a hank of it. So I did order that because I might do my fish and chips in floche, either sulky or floche. And I said, I've been wanting to try this anyway. You use the one strand rather than the two for some white stitching. And I think that would be cool because I think I'm going to choose a fabric that is a color and stitch it in the white versus finding a white, you know, doing like, excuse me, white fabric and stitching it in like a different kind of bluish or whatever. So yeah, I did pick that up as well. The place got good reviews on Amazon. One person complained about it being tangled, but this looks pretty good. I don't think it's going to be tangled. So that is the other thing I forgot that I bought. And that's it. That is my shopping. Alrighty, giveaways. We are zipping along today. Where's my thing? Okay. I talked about this week's is the Madame Chantilly Celebrate Halloween. It's Halloween kind of tier tray, but it's called Celebrate Halloween if you're looking for it. And the face on that spider just cracked me up so much I said, say the word spider. And I put your name in the blue bowl. So now I think this is how it came. I'll put it in a protective kind of like plastic bag for you because I'd be worried that this through the mail could get wet or whatever. But let me, whoop, there's a whole bunch of names there. I want to mix those up because I want to give everybody a good chance. Okay, so let's pull apart. I've got one. And the winner is, and I am going to close up my iPad so you can do it against the dark here. Leslie Price. Congratulations. So if you could get back to me with your address, either through Gmail or Instagram. With Facebook, you could certainly try Facebook Messenger, but I don't know why. It doesn't always show me that there's messages. I don't know if I miss it when it first shows that there's something, and then next time I go there, there's nothing. I don't know exactly. So that one's a dicey one. You can certainly try, but I can't guarantee I'll see it there. And I'm checking now. I'm double checking my Gmail spams because a couple of you have asked, and I checked this morning. I think I got all the addresses out, you know, for addresses example for the trading card, and it kept sending emails that weren't spam to spam. So I think I've got them all, but I will also check, you know, if for whatever reason you send, you can give me a nudge if you haven't heard from me because I usually at least try to acknowledge your email. So if you don't get an, or your DM or whatever, if you don't get an acknowledgement, just kind of check because for some reason or other, I might not have seen it. Alrighty. This week's giveaway, where is it? Oh, there it is. Too many things all over the place. So in honor of my pumpkin birthday stitch along, and I've done this the last couple of years, is I have found, I've had this for months. I bought this in spring in anticipation of October. And it's wonderful needle minder from Gina's Unique Boutique. No, it used to be that, right? It's magnet. Oh, that's so funny. The magnet's on the opposite side. My iPad's here. So the bottom magnet like went flying to the iPad. Gina's Unique Needle Minders. And I know she's on Etsy. Okay. Whew, there we go. Isn't that fun? The green truck with the pumpkins. So if you would like me to put your name in the blue bowl to try to win this needle minder, just say the word Greene. Yeah, that is so much fun. It's funny because I bought some needle minders as giveaways, and then I'm like, ooh, do I want to give it away? But yes, I do. So you never see needle minders on my projects because I stitch in hand. I generally don't put them on the project, but I have a needle minder in every container that I have, that in every place that I stitch. And in some places I don't have containers, but I have needle minders. So I have needle minders. I use quite a few of them. You'll just never see them on my projects. So I never have them to show. But say the word Greene and I'll put your name in. Okay, that is all the stitching stuff. Whew, just over an hour. We are just zipping along today. If that is it and you do not want to hear anything life, then I hope you have a fabulous week, and I hope you get lots of stitching or whatever is for you, done, happens, enjoys, whatever, and I'll see you next week. All right, so life stuff. It was an eventful week, I guess is the best way to put it. I saw you last Friday, and I was talking about the fact that we were probably going to go out Friday night for our anniversary. Our anniversary was Monday, this past Monday, but Mo actually did have to travel, and so we said, let's do it over the weekend, and with Tropical Storm Ophelia bearing down on us, we said, let's go out Friday night. So we went out Friday night for a lovely dinner. It was, there's a place not more than a few steps from the beach. It's right on the main area and very close to the beach. It's an Indian restaurant, but they have several vegan entrees and appetizers. And so I could easily eat there without any problems, was able to find dishes to eat, and it was delicious. If you were ever down in Rehoboth and you were looking for Indian food, let me know and I will let you know where to go. So we had a wonderful meal, really enjoyed it, had leftovers, so we had the meal again. I don't know if we did it for lunch over the weekend or another dinner, I don't remember, but it was delicious. And so we said, well, we're this close to the beach, let's go check out the ocean. You know, Ophelia was coming. The wind was, it's funny, in the restaurant, that building, those walls were thick. You couldn't tell there was anything wind-wise. You step out and you're like, whew, wind everywhere. And if you either saw my picture on my Facebook page or on my Instagram, you'll know. So we went down to the beach and the wind was crazy, really crazy. I think the highest wind we got on Saturday might have been just about 60 miles an hour, somewhere down here at the beaches. I don't know if it was at Rehoboth, but it was strong, really strong, hair flying everywhere. And the waves were really crashing. So of course I had to take a picture of Mo and I, and we weren't the only ones, but it was really it was refreshing. It wasn't super cold. The wind was crazy, but it was fun. So we did that, checked out the ocean. Then Saturday, Ophelia came in, and the rain. It would pour, then it would go light, then it would pour, and you keep thinking it can't get any harder rain-wise, and it did. I want to say down here in the bottom of the state, I want to say 3 to 4 inches was pretty much everywhere what we got. We did not flood in our area, but I know Dewey flooded a bit. They always flood because where the road is, I think the road had to be closed. The beach is really not that far from it. And then I think Bethany did some flooding as well. So there was some flooding down here, but not in our area. I know a lot of people went out, I think, on Saturday, and they said it wasn't that bad in that sense, but we just hunkered in, stayed in. I stitched. I don't know what else I did, but I just decided that's it. It's going to be a day where we stay in. So we did that. Sunday, I was surprised. I thought the storm was going to go all weekend. I figured, you know, we're going to be stuck in, but Sunday was not that bad, actually. So I said, let's go down to the beach. That might be the day we brought our chairs, actually, thinking about it. I'm sure that's the day we brought our chairs. So we brought our chairs. I had a light sweatshirt on, but I was comfortable. And the waves were really strong. But, oh, I went first and I stitched and I went for a little walk. I can walk up to 15 minutes without a lot of pain. So my therapy is working for my hip. I think I did just the 10-minute walk that day because I had already done some stuff, I think. And then I was checking things out. I was watching, and I texted Mo, I said, because he had to do some work because he was going to be traveling. I said, are you done? Come down and bring the chairs. So he did. He came down and we sat, and that's where my little seagull buddy came. I saw some dolphins. They kind of just came up out of the water, and then they would be swimming there. They were going towards south. They were going south towards Maryland, I would assume. But I don't know if dolphins find warmer water, presumably, in the wintertime. So that was kind of cool. But for that area, lots of surfers. You generally don't see surfers in that area. So that was kind of cool. And we just really enjoyed sitting out, getting some fresh air. And the storm had passed much quicker than I thought. Although it's been kind of like dreary and rainy. Supposedly we're not supposed to get a ton of rain today, although upper Delaware, New Jersey, New York, New England, I know for Connecticut, we've already told our family, be careful today. I think they're supposed to get quite a bit of rain. And I don't know so I thought I had read somewhere that it was Ophelia kind of coming back on itself, how the storms do that. So if you were in that section, I want to say in New York City even might get some flooding. So please be careful. Don't drive through standing water, and just be careful with all of that. But it's not been really that sunny the last few days. I think a couple days ago I did do some beach stitching. It might have been Wednesday. Mo was away, and the sun did come out. It was kind of nice. But yeah, so Mo had to he had to go to a conference and do a presentation at one section of the conference. Here I say he never travels, and he traveled twice in September. I think that's done. We've put I said no more travel. But so he was gone for a few days, and I was on my own. I realized that I stay up much later when it's just me, and then I sleep later when it's just me. But I definitely I'm not in a good schedule. So it's good now that he's back, because it'll get me back in a regular schedule. So the week kind of, between him having to go away and me just kind of doing stuff on my own, and I have my physical therapy for twice this week. I did go and stitch with people for a little bit yesterday. So it was a pretty busy week. This weekend, I don't know how the weather's supposed to be. I think a little bit rainy through Saturday, and then I think it's supposed to become nice again on Sunday, and the sun's supposed to come out. So fingers crossed. I'd really love a October with some nice, okay, it doesn't have to be warm, but not cold either. Like a really nice October. You know how you get those October days? I would love a whole month of that. So we'll see what happens. And we'll see what happens next week. I think it's already shaping up to be busy. But, and then my weekend plans of just getting some stitching in. Aston Villa's playing tomorrow. We'll see how they do. We will see how they do. They did beat Chelsea last week, so, I'm not writing them off, but we'll see what happens. But that's it. I hope you are well. I hope I can't believe we're barreling into October already. I hope you're enjoying you enjoyed September, whether it was stitching or life or whatever's going on. And let's look forward to a new month and the changing of the seasons, wherever you happen to be. It could be getting warmer, it could be getting colder, obviously what part of the world you're in, but it's always a time of change. I find especially, there's something about, I know we change seasons 4 times a year, and I know, there's a big difference between winter and spring, and then you kind of leave your summer and go into the fall. But there's something about September, October that always kind of shakes me up a little bit. And I'm determined this year that it's going to be a good thing. Do you know what I mean? In years past, it's not always been. It's kind of unsettled me. There's 2 times a year, usually this time of year, and then mid-January, end of January. I don't know why. But I'm determined to kind of go into this and embrace it, lean into it, and whatever changes come, then, we're gonna go with it. So, I don't know. That's the only way. I've got to look positive towards things, right? I mean, because that's the only way I can do it. All right, so that's about it. I hope you're well. I hope you're safe. My allergies, every single day I have a stuffy nose. Every day. So I don't know if you're experiencing the same. There's lots of stuff going on around there. So take care of yourself, whatever it is. I think I'm just forever going to be sniffling every single day. It is the way it is. Yeah, I'm definitely, I don't have an answer. I can't take antihistamines because they adversely affect me. So I don't have that nice thing that I can do. So if you have any non-antihistamine suggestions that really help with allergies, let me know, because I would love to not be snuffly all the time. I really should own stock in Kleenex because I use so much of it. All right, now I'm just rambling. I hope you're well, and I hope you're getting lots of stitching. Join me this weekend in going kind of all over the place with your stitching if you'd like, or just stitch on one and just enjoy it. Whatever works for you, you know that. But just take some time for yourself. You matter. So interesting. I just read an article. See, I'm going off on a tangent. And there's a couple books on this about why knowing that you matter is really important. And it's different from self-esteem and self-confidence. But it was really interesting. I'm never going to be able to articulate it really well. But the concept of mattering is really important to our well-being. And so I really want you to know that your contributions here with the cross-stitch world or in your life, you matter and your contributions matter. So you are important, and find what you really enjoy and like to do and do it. Just do it and enjoy yourself. All right, that's it. That's my talk for the day. I hope you have a good week. Happy stitching.